All righty, folks. This is the Hub Call. This is my weekly check-in. What's going on in the real estate market? We have the one and only Ty and Matt with us today. Yes, we do have other members, but they must be busy. Let's give them that. They must be busy. Ty, how you doing? You were first in.
I'm doing awesome, man. Great to be with you.
Awesome. And Matt, what's going on? I saw you sitting courtside for that Phoenix Sacramento game. It was fun, except the last, I don't know, 3-4 minutes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it was funny too because I fly into Phoenix and I'm an undercover Kings fan. I'm not telling anybody I'm a Kings fan because I'm sitting in the Suns owner seats. But
You don't want to do that. That's bad.
Everyone's coming up to me like, "What an exciting game! That was fantastic." I go, "Kind of. It was kind of a good, except for the fact that my team blew a 22-point lead with 8:17 left. Besides that, it was a great game.
Yeah, besides the last 18 minutes or 8 minutes, it was great.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's funny. Well, Ty, let's go to you first. I always just go with who showed up first. What is going on in the real estate market? You've been in the game 30 years. You've seen plenty of winter to spring selling seasons. Typically, I think in our market, which I'll just call Silicon Valley for, a geography, our spring selling season really doesn't catch fire until after the Super Bowl. What I'm wondering, with rates down, what's going on? What are you seeing out there?
It's competitive. It's competitive for first-time buyers. It's competitive for realtors to get listings. Something we've talked about for a long time on this show, as well as you've talked about for the last 18, 24 months, low inventory. Low inventory still feels like the theme of the year. It's driving value. We're seeing multiple offers below the median.
Multiple offers.
Yeah, especially below the median, which is kind of like, maybe if the house is outstanding, it's a, fix and flip, it comes in, it's really beautifully done. But even on mediocre stuff that you're going, how does that sell for 5 or 7% higher than the asking?
That's
it's weird.
Nervous.
It's weird.
And then just one quick question before we go to Matt. We've talked a lot about luxury, right? The median in your market's what, like 600-ish? Where you are, Ty?
Mediums, below 6, 550, 6 and under.
Let's call it 6. What's going on in the luxury? And I'll say luxury is 1.2 and above. It is more, I guess what I'm looking for is more inventory coming. Like, is that where the inventory is coming or nothing yet? No,
I don't see it. And here's what I see. So I live in about a 900,000 to about a 1.2 million neighborhood.
Okay.
And even here, I'm like, okay, when I see a new listing, I'm like, okay, is this the one I'm going to pick up on Creative Finance, subject to, or whatever, let it age on the market. And even then it's defying the odds. I see those houses. Wow. There was a time in December, like November, December, where they were setting 60 days, 75 days price reductions or getting pulled off the market. But then all of a sudden they're back on and they're selling within 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 30 days. Not as many price reductions. I think it's just the fact that there's just not a lot for sale.
Yeah. I mean, the consumer is frankly easy to predict. Consumers, when it comes down to it, in order for us to crack open our wallets, we want to feel like we're getting a deal. You want to know when a 6.6% interest rate's a deal? When you're used to 8, right?
One more comment on that too, that I just want to share, because Silicon Valley. So a good friend of mine, Alex Fleer, very, very busy from San Francisco, basically all the way to Fremont and, all over the Silicon Valley. Even he's telling me, I'm going, what's going on in the $2 to $5 million range? And he goes, hotcake. I mean, things are just, they're selling well. And he goes, and I go, well, what's driving it? And he goes, this is normal conversation with the buyer. The buyer goes, I made 20% in the stock market, or I made, he told me a number, I feel like 25, 28% with their stock portfolio. Oh, we need to put a little bit bigger down payment. No problem. We'll just go ahead and get the deal done. So stock market, I noticed on the luxury also, which I think around my neighborhood, a lot of people are commuting over Vasco. People are commuting to the Silicon Valley. So I think because the stock market's still pretty frothy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, right? We've got Google, we've got Meta, we've got all these tech companies, Nvidia right around the corner. I mean, Facebook stock tripled, or Meta's tripled, right? It went from sub 100 where I bought it to, I think, over 300. right? If you're a Facebook employee and you're sitting on stock that triples, you're like, oh, I got to put an extra 15% or 15 grand down. Oh, who cares? Crazy stuff. Alrighty, Matt, you do business all over California and all 50 states. What is going on with purchase refis? Have you already seen the floodgates open, or is it still like there's a bunch of horses in the stall and you're not sure yet?
Right. Yeah. And the horses are in the stall because of inventory. So, a lot of what Ty was saying, and you guys are talking about, where, the amount of inventory is going to determine how much action we have, because we can see the week over week, 10% mortgage applications are up, but, having somebody pre-approved and in my, quote unquote, home buyer waiting room is one thing. Having them complete a transaction, another, because they all can't get something when there's limited inventory. And, to speak to the luxury market real quick, because most of my stuff, first time home buyers, Sacramento and surrounding, we're talking 500,000-600,000, but I also have Bay Area buyers. And when they are competitive and, it's multiple offers between 1.8 and 2 million on a Walnut Creek, which is one we got in the contract last week, that's when I'm like, well, that's scary for the first time home buyers. It's a totally different market, but if they're competitive at 2 million and it's acting like that, then with 10x the buyer pool at 500 grand, you can imagine how competitive it is. And so at 1.8 million, we had to go 1.9 million, 18-day close, remove all but the inspection contingency. And so this isn't 2021, but it's competitive. That's something that I want people to understand. And like, to your point of people want a deal, I talk to people all the time that they want to buy, but they're not realistic about what is actually doable in a given market. If you would have asked me Q4 of 22 or Q4 of 23, hey, can we go out and get this much credit, cover closing costs, maybe do great.
We were screaming that. All three of us were screaming. If you want a deal, you want points, you want this, get it now, because it ain't gonna last, and it's gone again.
And that's the funny part too, is I watch the stuff, and I see the ugly duckling sell. And so when something comes up and it's a beautiful house, it's 599,000, so it's priced correctly, it's remodeled. I already know when somebody calls me when that's been on for 3 days, you're not going to get a deal. There is just buyers on the sideline clamoring. And just for some stats for people, because I've got the Ryan Lundquist in my market, so I get the privilege of getting to check out his data every month. And new listings in January. In 2020, there was something like 2,500. In 21, there was 2,200. Fast forward to 23, 1,400 new listings.
Oh.
So we're on pace to outdo 23, but by a smidgen. It's still going to be 40% less than the January listings. And this is less listings in an environment where, like we saw, mortgage applications up 10% week over week. Rates are down. People are excited.
That's the key. January 2023, the market was slow. Flippers were losing their ass because they overpaid.
Yep.
Inventory was stacking up. We had all these conversations. Rates were going up. Now rates are down 1.5 points. With good credit, you can go sub 6 pretty easy. Now you have demand going, I want some, and these buyers, they've been burned. So they're like, this could be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is like you talked about it, when meta stock is up, when buyer sentiment is good, like that drives the consumer behavior as much as anything else. They feel good. They're ready to roll.
It's the wealth effect.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Yeah. Well, hey, total right turn on you guys. I don't know if you saw this, but over the weekend, it looks like California Dream for All round 2 is back. Have you guys seen that? You both did?
Yep.
I have seen it. Now, I actually had somebody from the Sacramento Bee reach out to me, and I had somebody in my office do the interview with them. Some changes were made, and rightfully so. Some changes that don't make sense were made, which is also not surprising in California. Sorry, California. Sorry, politicians. You guys don't always get it right. Could be an understatement.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell me one time they got it right. But anyways, I digress.
Rolling back out in 2024, because one thing that's interesting that I had a good discussion with in my office, and this is probably a longer conversation for another time. First generation home buyers.
Okay.
Great idea. Sounds good coming out. What are the unintended consequences? Nobody in your family has owned a home. You made a great living for yourself, and you now are doing fantastically well. You're telling me that that person would qualify where somebody who may have had a homeowner as a parent or a grandparent, never got a dime from them, never got any help, and they truly need this assistance. They can't get it because there's been generational ownership. Like that's kind of funky. But
yeah, you know what the worst thing to me is? They put a clock on this one. We all know that last time the money was gone in 11 days, so clearly not done well. They announced it January 20th. They're going to do a lottery. They're not going to start executing the lottery till April. So here's my unintended consequence.
Yep.
You're going to have all these people holding on to lottery tickets, thinking they're going to be one of the winners. There are only going to be between 1,700 and 2,000 winners, according to the estimates. But my fear is there'll be 40, 50, 60,000 people. Most of those people ready to roll that will just wait to see if they're lottery winners. So I suspect California real estate
also equally as bad, Mike.
Oh no.
If you're a lottery winner, you have 60 days to get in contract. I don't like putting pressure on like you must buy, because then what it causes, we already know. Oh, I'm getting some free money with this dream program. So it's listed at $499. It's going to be competitive. We'll pay $575.
Yeah.
It pushes prices up for everybody.
Oh yeah. There could be a vacuum of activity between now and April. And then there's a 60-day window where things go freaking ballistic.
What could go wrong, guys?
Absolutely wild. I want to go back to something that was said. And Michael, you were the first person I've heard say this. And you said it back in December, and you were spot on. The spring selling season started in December.
It did.
And you called it and you said it. And, in theory, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But now that I'm looking back, like, here we are toward, almost the end of January.
Yeah, can you believe January is almost over? I mean, oh my God.
But the market conditions are already, like I said, like the days on market, having something set on the market more than 30 or 45 days, maybe a price reduction or two. That was all October, November, and early December, and everything changed. Everything changed. It does feel like March or April today in terms of inventory, other than maybe it's a little rainy today, so maybe not as many showings the next day or two, but I guarantee you the sun comes out and we have wildfire on new listings again. The other thing that you look at is based on this new program, like what's March, April, May, June? I mean, it could be wildfire. It could be wildfire.
It really could be. It really could be. Well, folks, at the end of the day, we're going to keep doing these conversations every Monday. Matt, if somebody wanted to reach out to you, get pre-approved, ready to rock and roll, how are they doing that?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com. And, for whatever reason, I'm coming up on 10 years as a licensed mortgage originator, advisor, whatever you want to call me. I'm having more fun this year than ever. I just feel like
you have a lot less competition, about half of them left.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, I've seen enough, I've done enough. I feel like I'm providing true value, and there's something to that. I still get people all the time. Some of my old YouTube videos have my phone number on it. So people are like, you're crazy with your phone number online. I still respond to every single text. They're asking me about their escrow account, and they're in a state I don't even lend in or do business. It's just fun. It's fun to interact with people. It's fun to know that you're truly helping somebody out, whether it's an escrow question or whatever. So I encourage people to reach out, whether we're going to work together or not, whether it's just running something by me that your current lender is saying and it sounds funky, because some of the most joyous moments for me, it's a weird thing, is somebody saying, hey, this is what my broker told me. And I can feel the nervousness in them and they're scared. You know what? That's totally normal. You're on the right track. Where are they broker and loan to? Oh, that company? That's a great company. You're in good hands. You can just feel their shoulders go down, right? If they hear it from the person they're working with, maybe it's like, oh, they might be just saying that to get a deal. They hear it from a third party who's got no skin in the game. You're in good hands. You know, that rate range is about right for 20% down investment property. I had that conversation last night, 10:15 at night, you know, just telling somebody, yeah, you're going to be in the high sevens if you're putting 20% down investment property. Made that person feel better. They can confidently move forward with whoever they're working with. Any of that stuff you want to run by the team. Greatmortgagebroker.com. Fire me, email matt@mtmg.com. Like you said, Mike, I'm no longer chasing income. I'm chasing impact. The more people I can help, the better.
I love that. I love that. Ty, you've been in the game a long time. Like the real estate or like the mortgage business, a lot of pretenders have left. This is the time for the good ones like you to expand, grow, help, impact. What are closing thoughts?
I think it's an incredible opportunity this year, 2024. I think for sure for realtors, this is the time to really get after it, to get hyper focused, figure out your niches. I have a free course for creative finance for realtors. Also has some marketing things in there and some proactive, preemptive marketing strategies. All you have to do is send me an email, ty@tylg.com. Also, too, for people out there, if you're watching this, I'm still active. I'm not like semi-retired. I take a lot of time off. I have a lot of great family time, but I'm still active as a real estate broker. I still represent a lot of sellers. I represent serious buyers and investors. I don't put up with any nonsense. I am established where you got to be really serious. And of course, I'm always here to help and serve. I love working with great clients. So ty@tylg.com. Please reach out.
All right, guys, take care. Have an amazing week. We will do this again on Monday. Later.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.